Before I start the podcast, I'd like to thank Patreon supporter Triana. She has a DJ service, does live acoustic sets, has access to a full band, and also does music lessons. You can check her out on facebook.com/Triana Music. That's Triana. Thank you so much for your support, Triana, on not just keeping me up, but all my creative endeavors. And if you'd like to support me too, you can go on patreon.com/GameYayFun. Thanks again, Triana. Keeping Me Up, the show where we discuss the thoughts that inch their way into our brains and keep us up when we should be sleeping. I'm your host, Razlo, and tonight I have my longtime friend, illustrator and graphic designer Jacob Paul on the show to help keep me up. Tonight we're going to discuss such topics as, are meatbuns donuts? Would humans smell butts if their sense of smell was as keen as dogs? And we learn if blind people sleep more. Please enjoy. Jacob. I've got a few things that are keeping me up. I just want to try to get them off my chest so that I can feel okay and go to sleep.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, speaking of...
I wasn't sleeping or anything, so yeah, sure.
Speaking of sleep, I was wondering, because whenever I get sore eyes or I've like looked at a computer monitor too long or something, my eyes get tired and like I have to keep them closed for a while, all of a sudden like I naturally feel more tired.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens to you or not.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, yeah.
So I was wondering, do blind people sleep more?
It's a good question. I would imagine that, normal things that would keep me awake at night, like light sensitivity or anything, wouldn't be an issue then. But I don't know. I think maybe sounds might keep people more awake than the concept of just closing their eyes. So maybe if you can't see anything, like, I don't really see how that would keep you awake, So
you're saying they would sleep longer?
I think if they possibly had like a relatively soundproof environment, they probably would be able to. I don't know how true that is, but
so I had the same assumption because like I said, I was going off of my experiences, and I guess actually typically blind people sleep less.
Oh, really?
Which I was surprised to find out about. And there's a few different things going on there. Sometimes they have what's called non-24, where it means that they're off the 24-hour. They can't stay on the 24-hour cycle.
Okay.
So like basically like wide awake.
Yeah.
And meanwhile the rest of the world's going on as it is, regardless of their inability to stay on the 24-hour cycle. So then they have to go to work after only just getting to bed at 4 a.m. because that's what felt like the time that they were tired, as opposed to having these like environmental
schedule cues basically.
Yeah, to say like, oh, the sun went down, I should be tired, or things like that.
So basically you operate on your own internal schedule.
You can get onto a schedule, it just can be difficult to stay on it because, like I said, like you don't necessarily have a lot of the cues that we would have.
You don't see the sun go down, time to go to sleep, sun wakes, sun coming up, time to get up. You don't.
Yeah, so I was kind of surprised with that. The other thing is if you lose a certain amount of your eye, like, or if a certain amount of your eye is damaged,
Yeah.
there's I can't find the actual name of it. There's some internal rhythm. I don't remember how to say it. It's like circuitin, or there's some rhythm that you naturally are given in your body that if those sensors are deadened or cut out, like if they get like, you know, stabbed in the eye or something like that, then that can cause you to not get as tired or have a difficult time basically like having your brain like get into that state.
Okay.
So something that like you were coming into the assumption of, I was like, oh, it must be so easy.
It turns out it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, I was like, it must be so easy for blind people to sleep, because I was picturing like, oh, like those damn shades. Oh, the sun came up.
That's for me. Like, I can't, if there's any light coming in at all, I can't fall asleep.
Right. Yeah. Or like, oh, it's too early in the day or whatever. Yeah. And it ends up being like, oh, wow, like a lot of blind people sleep much worse than most other people do for various reasons. And I was like, that's interesting information. Yeah, and also a bummer. Yeah. I feel bad that that's
something
that this will have to deal with. So, you know, go easy on any blind people in your life that are maybe a little sleepy.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know that you had maybe something that was bothering you as well.
Yeah.
I heard you were talking in your sleep about something about Junior Mints.
Yeah, see, I really like Junior Mints. They're one of my favorite candies to get when I go to like the movies or anything. Okay. But I don't really understand why they were called Junior Mints. I don't really recall seeing any product called like Senior Mints or full size mints or anything. They're not particularly small. They're smaller, but they're not smaller than your average like mint candy or Lifesaver or something. And all I can think is that it's like either, you know, it's the last name of like the inventor or something. Maybe it was like, you know, I'm Thomas Mint and this is my creation, the Junior Mint. Maybe my son made it or something. Or if there's like some sort of candy college and it has just like one more year left to go in its education before it gets its degree or something, and it becomes like an official like
they could have combined
bachelor degree or something at that point.
They could have just combined the two concepts into one like combined word.
Yeah.
And called them mintitures.
Yeah, mintitures. That would actually like make a little bit more sense.
It's a little harder to say though.
Yeah. But I just, you know, I don't get it. I would love to go to like a convenience store and buy like ones that are like 3 times the size and like manly mints or like adult mints or something.
Is it like the intention that like, oh, it's just for children?
Yeah, I don't know.
But mints don't seem like the number one
like
go-to choice for
kids.
Yeah. Unless it was just like, I've got to get my son to have a mint, but he's refusing the Altoids tin. I keep pushing on him.
So let's pour some chocolate on that.
Let's cover some chocolate on that. My child's breath is like a sewer, and I must solve this. And then he was just like, I've invented
the Junior Mint.
I'm never gonna look up what the reasoning is, because I'm convinced now that that's the reason that they're called Junior Mints.
I'll take it.
And like maybe that. I wonder if there was like, if that's actually the reasoning, if there were any follow-up products where it was like junior asparagus.
Yeah.
Or like other things that maybe they were having a hard time having. They just threw chocolate and everything.
Junior prune juice.
Turned out it didn't work as well as it did on the Junior Mints. And so that was the only thing that stayed in place.
Yeah. Interesting. So, are you ready to go back to sleep?
No.
Or you have something else on your mind?
No. I just see how furiously dogs put their nose up each other's asses.
Okay, yeah.
And part of you as a human being wants to judge them.
Yeah.
And say, like, you're a disgusting creature.
Yeah, why are you doing that? You don't need to stick your face up there.
Yeah, like, look down upon them. How dare you? And you're like, it smells disgusting. poop and buttholes sometimes. But then you look into the facts, you dig a bit deeper,
Yeah.
and dogs have a better sense of smell.
Yeah. Would that make it worse? Wouldn't you
So
think?
maybe it just is. Maybe it's like like there's certain flavors that when you're a kid,
Yeah. Okay.
like
but you don't-
it doesn't taste good to you because you can't appreciate nuance.
Yeah. So are you basically saying that like a dog is like a wine connoisseur of
I'm
assholes?
saying like, yeah, kind of. Like maybe what I'm wondering is if we had the same sense of smell as dogs do,
Yeah.
would we be prone to greet each other by sniffing each other's butts?
I don't know. I feel like there's just some general social rules that
That we currently have.
that we currently have.
But if
that
we had
prevent
if we
that.
had dog level sense of smell from the beginning,
Would we do that anyway?
maybe we wouldn't have those social norms.
Yeah, we wouldn't have the social norms of.
And don't you
shaming
feel
from-
like I feel like there's like some detective work that's happening too, like when a dog goes and smells another dog's ass.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm getting into your sense of character.
Yeah.
like sometimes I've seen dogs before where they sniff the butthole and then like right after they put their head down, they're just like, all right, I'm not messing with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, can the dog tell that this is like, oh man, sniffing that butthole, that is the butthole of a fighter. I need
So what makes the butthole of a fighter? Is it just like the diet or
maybe it just smells like blood. Other dogs that they've ate before. I don't know. I've just seen like real visceral reactions, like either like extra happy, like,
Yeah.
oh, you're
Yeah.
instantly my
Yeah.
friend because I sniffed your butthole, so maybe in courtrooms, because there's whatever
Yeah.
percentage of fault with a lie detector test. Maybe if we had like dog level sense of smell,
we do?
They'd
We
be
tell
like,
them, we tell them somebody
"Jurors."
was telling the truth by sniffing their ass in
jurors, please sniff the defendant's asshole.
court. Is he guilty or innocent?
Yeah. Like, listen, I've smelt guilt before, and
This man's asshole reeks of death.
Yes, this is the guiltiest smelling asshole that I've ever partaken in my life. I don't know. It makes me want to know more, and I'm sure that there's probably a documentary about why.
Yeah, probably.
Speaking of if things are different, I'm not personally a rock star.
No, I'm not either. But I
You had something you're bothered by.
yeah, so I don't get enough sleep. I had the drudgery of an 8 to 5 job every day.
Or
It's
people
like,
interrupting you while you're
Yeah.
sleeping with questions.
yeah, exactly. So I tend to drink a lot of energy drinks and things like that to keep myself awake, or to wake myself up in the morning. So they all have like these really like primal names and stuff. So, but I like Rockstar personally,
Me too.
and they're like their whole thing is energy like a rock star or whatever, and I got to imagine what do rock stars do?
I thought that cocaine energy drink was the tagline was energy like a rock star.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, that's probably just straight up cocaine, but I wonder, like, do rock stars have like boring drinks? Like, do they have something that like calms them down or something? Like
Accountant energy.
yeah, like accountant energy or administrative assistant, like
Right.
or like call center manager, like all the alertness of a guy working 12-hour shifts answering customer complaints, like
Bird watcher energy.
yeah, I mean, not everybody needs not everybody's gonna be on stage in front of like a crowd, and it's
They
like
had an anti-energy drink that they
Yeah.
had on the market, and I took it one time.
and what kind of
when-
effects did you have from it?
I remember it was called Drink.
Drink.
I feel like that was the name of it, and it was purple flavored, of course.
Okay.
And it had like a bunch of the kind of stuff that you would have in one of those like over the counter like gas station, like sleeping pill sort of things.
So like sawdust and
I mean,
random pharmaceuticals.
I wish I remembered the name of it, but I'd seen like whatever this particular herb was before, like on sleeping stuff, like chamomile or like I don't know. It had like a bunch of different stuff in it, and I decided to take it in the middle of the workday.
Oh God!
Because I liked I knew that the potential was if all was as advertised.
Yeah.
That I was screwing myself over.
Yeah.
But I like to have a heavy distrust of every product and its claims.
Yeah.
And so
that's generally healthy, I would think.
I mean, maybe not to the point that you're like, I double dog dare you to drink to make me feel shitty at work.
Yeah.
But I felt so relaxed.
Oh, really?
After I drank it. It's not on the market anymore, and I wonder if maybe it made people too relaxed.
Yeah, maybe like failed drug tests at work.
The only time I felt more relaxed at work was there was this one time where I brought a bunch of Dayquil to work because I was sick.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was like, man, I've been sick for a few days. I've been taking medicine for a few days. I don't need to look at the directions on the label.
Yeah.
At this point, I've got it memorized what the dosage is on this.
Like half a bar.
And I did have the dosage memorized. But I had the dosage memorized for Tylenol, which I was also taking. Not the dosage for Dayquil.
Oh, all right.
And the Tylenol dosage was like, every 2 hours or something like that.
Oh, yeah. And Dayquil's
Dayquil's like maybe
like
twice
6 hours
a day.
or something.
Yeah. So every 2 hours,
oh, man.
I was chugging this Dayquil. And I swear, like, I've never felt my muscles more relaxed. I was like in my chair, like slunk over.
Yeah.
Like trying to work. I felt really good.
Yeah.
But also really, like, even just like picking up my hand to like move the mouse was like
moving like sloth speed.
Yeah. The only time, so that's the only time I ever felt close to that was when I had this anti-energy drink.
Wow.
So I don't know if they still sell it and they just decided that there wasn't a market for it or whatever. But if you want to not get stuff done, I recommend Drink Anti-Energy. I think it was named Drink. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be, I wonder if it would be like, in terms of the Rockstar Energy drink, if you would seem like a poser. Like there's a bunch of rock bands that are afraid of wearing their own shirts because they think it's not cool and whatever. So if you're a rock star and you're seen backstage drinking a Rockstar Energy drink, is it just like, wow, this guy's got no self-esteem.
Wow, what a poser, yeah.
He's got like no self-esteem. He's got to put this reminder in there to everyone that he's a rock star. You know what? Phil Collins doesn't need that shit. He knew, and he also doesn't have energy drinks. He's awake for that 1 hour of the day that he's performing.
It's too bad we don't have any of that energy drinks. If we could stop being bothered by these thoughts and get back to sleep.
Well, there's a few more things that I wanted to go over.
Okay.
So Death Note's one of those anime that I super loved.
Yes.
From beginning to end. I don't know why they ended it, because the concept could have gone on forever. I selfishly wanted it to keep going.
Yeah.
And they showed a bunch of alternate ways to use a Death Note. For anyone that hasn't seen the anime, basically, like, there's a notepad that's fallen from some devilish realm of some sort.
Yeah. It's like the demon realm or something.
Right. And the notebook, anyone's name that's written in it, they die like 24 hours later?
Yeah, it's usually, I think it's 24 hours, and then, but sometimes the rules get
you could adjust, like,
and you can
within an hour, like, you could, like, they play around, like, let's add extra rules.
Yeah.
And you could say, like, if you wrote nothing, they just, like, die of a heart attack or something, and then you could be like, gets hit by a bus or whatever, and that would happen.
I think it just had to be feasible, and that was really about it.
Well, one thing they didn't explore, and I'm curious what would happen is, what if you drew a whole map in the Death Note? Like, if I drew, like, the city of Boston.
Oh, wow.
Like, the map of the city of Boston in the Death Note.
I think, I'm going to answer this seriously, I think. is I'm pretty sure in the rules they actually specify that you have to put the name of a specific person.
So what if I put Boston?
It has to be their real name, and you have to have their face in your mind when you write it. So I think I don't think towns apply to those rules, but then again, they constantly introduce new rules for.
What if all the vegetation and the buildings crumbled and like?
I mean, they potentially could. I mean, if they wanted to go that route, I mean, they do every few chapters make up a new rule.
I'm just saying, I never saw him draw a map.
Yeah, and I mean...
And what if he was just like, I need to remember where to get around, and he drew a map of the city.
Maybe he just didn't ask the right questions, you know?
And then comes around and just sees like this, like, it looks like post-Judgment Day version of that city. And maybe some people survived whatever happened, but probably a lot of people would just die by the fact of everything getting destroyed in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, the depth toll would be incredible, and I think that might be an interesting twist on the story. Well, I don't think it works in the particular rules that they set in the show.
They never actually said anything about maps.
But they didn't. They didn't.
Or
so
drawings.
That's what I'm saying.
They didn't say anything about drawings either.
They didn't. I don't think they...
Like, what if the next guy
What if I just draw a face?
Yeah, but what if you got a death note, right?
Yeah, and I drew some guy.
You're more apt to draw than you are to write, like in a diary.
Yeah,
so what if you're just drawing... What if you accidentally drew someone and like spot on, but it was just you thought it was from your imagination?
Yeah, and it turns out it's some guy
you saw on the subway like 3 years ago.
Sucks to be that guy.
And I know that you really love Toy Story.
Yeah, it was.
But you had a bit of a grudge with some of the other Pixar films.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they had a really good run for a while, but. I haven't really kept up on them lately, but
what went wrong?
The thing that I wonder is why didn't they just stick with like the Toy Story naming convention for the rest of their movies? I think that would make it a lot easier to just like title and market your movie. You already had a highly successful thing that was just Toy Story. That's what is it? It's a Toy Story about toys. That's all it is. It's like. They could have called Bug's Life like Insect Story, and
Bug's Life is pretty close. To
it's close, but like Finding Nemo could have been like Fish Story,
right?
And Wall-E could be like Robot Story, and like Brave could be like Computer Generated Hair Story. Like
for a while there, a lot of their titles were just 2 words.
Yeah, and then they got to like Cars, and they just gave up. They're like not even like Cars Story. It's just Cars.
Some people think they gave up in more ways than the naming.
Oh yeah, well I'm kind of one of those people. But I think it would save a lot of time and energy on
their
titling, and they would have a branding.
Yeah, there would be a brand recognition. But that DreamWorks would have come up with Madagascar Story, Shrek Story,
Pet Story,
Alien
Story.
What was the Alien one? Monsters vs. Aliens
Story. Oh yeah, I mean Monsters vs. Aliens is pretty descriptive of what it is, but Dragon Story. How to Train Your Dragon.
Sherman and Mr. Peabody Story.
Creatively Bankrupt Story.
I do think there would have been. Initially, it would have worked, but unless they could trademark, they would have had to like spell story wrong.
Dude, they could hire just like one guy to go through and just like
trademark every possible
everything all at once. They have
Disney's trademarked.
They're owned by Disney. They're owned by Apple.
Story names.
Yeah. They could have just had somebody and just like go through a list. It's like here's a program that we wrote that just adds story onto the end of every word in the dictionary, and we'll copyright it all at once. It's like we're Disney. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
I think that'd be very costly.
They have all the money in the world.
That's true. I think they should have just spelled story wrong.
Yeah.
And then they could have...
For like some umlauts in there or something. Yeah.
And then it would have been, okay, you're using our version of story.
Yeah.
Put 2 E's in there.
Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you gotta have it make sense in the case of Toy Story, because like it starts off and it's like, it's a little kid wrote story.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's dumb.
Yeah.
Like he didn't
Because
know.
he's a kid. He's
Yeah.
not.
I mean, look at how he wrote Andy on the bottom of the foot, you know?
He's
How
a little
much
dyslexic. He has
how much
some learning
credit are you gonna
disabilities,
give him?
But he's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's how you'd fix that. Now, assuming you were single
Okay.
and you can't physically name all the features of your wife,
Okay.
because that cheats on my particular question
All right.
here. But assuming that you had like weird science capability and you could construct your perfect mate or sculpt them or whatever, what would they look like? What would the attributes be if you were in the character creator of life, just making,
Oh man.
not talking personality, just like physically?
That would be kind of hard because like I'm attracted to a lot of different things.
So they would
like
it'd be like Two-Face.
yeah. I mean, if that's possible, you could do it like right down the middle and be like, this side has like a big breast, and this side's flat chested, and this side has long hair, and this side has short hair. I don't know, man.
You really cursed this person that you just made with trying to find a bra.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be rough. I don't know. I mean, the problem I have a lot of times when it comes to like character creators and stuff like that is that I fiddle with it too much and I'm never satisfied. So I don't know if I would necessarily want that ability. I think it's too much pressure.
You would just stick with default?
I would probably do not default, but I'd do like the random. I would hit random, and I'd probably just
go
tweak.
Good enough.
And I'd be like, okay, I'll find something until hit random enough times until I got something that was close, and then just tweak it as from there.
Would they be like tall, or would they be a midget?
They'd probably be taller. They wouldn't be like super short.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty open on a lot of things. At least I was before I got married. My wife, who will probably watch this at some point.
You're making sure that she knows that you're not actually using this character creator.
That I will never sleep again if I get too specific on these answers.
I see.
Yeah, but
too much pressure.
Honestly, it's too much pressure. I would kind of prefer to find something in the wild rather than try to build something on my own.
Okay, so I would have them have pink hair.
Yeah.
They would have prehensile nipples.
Okay.
So
they do like tricks with them, and they,
so
like,
that
bring
so
you
that
things
like
with them.
You know, if we were ever in a situation where we have our arms filled with groceries, like they could use like their prehensile nipple
on it
to like open the door, or things like that.
Or maybe just like hang a couple shopping bags off of them.
Yeah, just like hook them. They could take off their bra with their nipples. That would be the part that would be.
That would be interesting to see for sure.
I mean, I guess the nipples would have to stretch for that to be the case, but I guess stretchy prehensile.
I think if they're prehensile, I think being kind of stretchy is not really that weird in comparison.
They would have orc-sized feet, like just giant. I don't even have a foot fetish. I just really got into the way the characters were drawn in the Max, and it's like I just want these
gigantic feet that are bigger than the head.
Chunky feet, they would have a mood rock stuffed in their belly button like a troll doll.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just. I think I'm just describing a troll.
Now, if you rubbed it, do you rub it and it like turns to a color of your own mood, or does it change color to indicate their mood? Okay, okay.
Or maybe I don't even need to rub it. It'd be better if I didn't need to rub it.
It just lit up whatever.
Keep away if if I see like the rock is green.
Okay.
And then I know to stay away.
Okay.
So I guess I've had a realization about myself, and I never Maybe it's the face of the trolls that does it for me. That's ruined it, because the body I seem to have just described a troll.
It's kind of like short and
I
dumpy
kinda
with hair that sticks straight up in the air.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. You had an issue. You're wondering. You know more about math than I do, so maybe you can about
So
a saying.
I was thinking, and this is kind of, maybe it's a pressing topic, I don't know, but I was always growing up, I was always, people were always told, two wrongs don't make a right. They try to tell you, just because somebody was mean to you doesn't mean you could hit them or anything like that. But I was thinking about the phrase, and I'm like, two wrongs don't make a right is mathematically incorrect, because a negative times a negative equals a positive. So why, if everything is really, calculations and figures in real life, why wouldn't that apply to our social interactions based on that? And honestly, it's like, depending on the scenario, sometimes it's true. Sometimes two wrongs do make a right, but
Like an example being like if you were at like Chipotle and your wife asked for a burrito with beans, but you heard a burrito with no beans, and so then you ordered a burrito with no beans, that's one wrong. But then let's say the guy at Chipotle wasn't paying attention and just made a standard burrito with beans.
Yep.
That's another wrong, but now it's made it right.
Yeah, exactly.
So
see, this is a scenario where it's not legitimate. It's not a legitimate saying. I don't think it's fair. And it's like, two wrongs don't make a right. And it's like, Bayesian enormity, man. It's like Allied powers versus the Axis. It's like, yeah, sure, shooting a Nazi in the face, like, that's pretty right to me. Like, but like, a less violent example, like your burrito thing. It's saying, not really an accurate saying.
It's almost like sayings.
Nuance in the world.
Right. It's almost like sayings are bullshit.
Yes.
And don't apply for every single
scenario.
Specific scenario. It's almost like that. Not exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
Sorry, the cops.
Man, it is really hard to sleep when the cops keep driving by.
Yeah, it's pretty bad out there. I have a question. This bothers me.
Okay.
Are meat buns donuts?
I would say yes, actually. I mean, yeah, I think they would be. I think they would classify, because it's dough.
Right.
And
there's a filling.
But donuts don't necessarily have to have the hole in the middle. There's plenty of donuts with filling that are just dough with like apples in them or jelly.
Right.
So it's just, what's the difference of if a donut with if you stuck like hamburger in it?
Yeah, I always got frustrated. The part that frustrated me the most was like Dunkin' Donuts had this opportunity to expand and start making food at a certain point.
Yeah.
And rather than going to the most, to me, obvious thing, which would be meat buns.
Yeah.
They were just like, I don't know, let's get some flatbread sandwich. They're like getting things like, they're adding additional things to the menu that they don't even need to have.
Yeah.
To make very basic sandwiches.
Yeah. But they don't like expand the donut selection to include things like you said, a meat bun or like a pork bun or a pork roll or something like that.
Or like even like new stuff, like if you filled a donut with like chicken and cheese.
Yeah.
And then
fried it or something.
And then like rolled it in, like Cajun spices or something like that. Like that would be, I think, pretty
I
awesome.
mean, they could sell like empanadas or something, because that's around
Right.
the same line where it's just dough with.
I mean, at least those aren't circular.
Yeah, but still, it's like.
But not all donuts are circular.
Not all donuts are circular. Like the bear claws or whatever are long and thin.
Are empanadas donuts?
I think we just stumbled on a whole new world here.
This is the problem with all these classifications, like hot dogs being sandwiches and things, is that
It's
the
splitting hairs.
lines, like, dividing these various menu options.
They're very
are
slight.
To the point that you can't even really describe it.
Yeah.
Half the time you have to be like, no, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And you can't say anything else. But I'm just saying, Dunkin' Donuts, get on making some meat buns.
It's just Dunkin' now, so they have no excuse.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Dunkin' meat buns. Dunkin' them in, I don't know what.
Teriyaki sauce.
My
or
mouth.
something. Yeah.
And you're wondering about collective work, like if everyone did the same thing to achieve a goal.
Yeah, it's just like too many people try to do things like all alone, and they get upon these struggles. So I was just thinking, if it's just like everybody, like all at once, like a whole town or something, just decided, I'm not going to pay my electric bills anymore.
Right.
Could they do anything about it? Like, if it was just like everybody, like the whole state or something?
I wonder how much each of these companies like has in reserves. If all of a sudden they got like several months of just no money coming
But it's like if all of a sudden people were like, nope, we're not going to pay for it, and that included their own employees, like who's going to do anything about it? Like, they could just let the power keep running. Would they just shut down the power?
I think they'd shut down.
They probably
the power.
shut it down. But what if like all the people who work there like joined in, and we're all like,
they'd probably still shut it down.
No, yeah.
But like in terms of paying taxes, like
what if like
that would be a lot tougher.
Yeah.
Like you can't jail if every citizen just decided. The problem is it's like voting, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're like, hey, this is the best candidate, and you'll talk to some of your friends and they'll be like, you're right, that's the best candidate. Cool, so you're gonna vote for them, right? And they'll be like, nah, it doesn't stand a chance. You're like,
yeah.
Well, almost everyone I've talked to said they don't stand a chance. So if we all just actually voted for what we wanted,
yeah, would we actually be in this mess?
Probably actually get that person to win.
Yeah.
Oh, but who's going to do that? And that's always the issue with those things. Like if everyone was like, this tax is unfair or whatever,
just everybody stop
and
doing
they stop
it.
paying it, not everyone's going to jail.
Yeah.
Like
you can't fight everybody.
Right.
You know?
And it would I don't know what would happen, but the end result would not be all of a sudden like you're all going to jail or whatever.
I just don't think it would be feasible possible.
It might be like less in taxes, like, okay, guys, like we just need to get some money coming in.
Yeah.
So here's this reduction in taxes. And then everyone feels like they
accomplished something.
Yeah, kept pace, and it turns out, you get lower taxes.
Yeah.
I mean,
nobody wants to be the one to start doing something like that. But, if all it takes is like, a handful of people to do it, and then if everybody else starts doing it, then great.
It's like we've almost gotten to the point on one thing, like people putting in toilet paper the right way.
Oh, God.
And we just need to. We've almost unified as a people there. Like you just see like occasionally the one straggler who's like, no, it's under. Okay. And then
so we're on the same side on this one. It's always
there's only
over.
one side.
Yeah.
There's the right side, and then and then there's people who
do it wrong.
I think sometimes just to be difficult, or because like that's how they've done it and they refuse that they're wrong. Like it makes it so the toilet paper is further from you to reach. Like there's no mechanical advantage to under.
And I just find that when it's under, you have to touch more of the toilet paper roll to get it to unwind.
Which is really bad.
Why would you want to do that? Like,
when you've got
not
poop all over your hands because you're really drunk and didn't remember how to wipe your butt.
I make it a personal goal of mine that whenever I see it the wrong way, I fix it.
It's that.
And I will do it as many times as I need to.
And motion smoothing on TVs.
Oh, yeah.
If I go over a friend's house.
100%.
And if it's a real monster where it's like they have the motion smoothing effect on their TV and the toilet paper's rolled under, I actually delete them from my
They're
life.
no longer your friend.
Yeah, I'm like,
what
you
else are they
can't-
wrong about?
Yeah, this is the surface level. You're willing to show me this.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what you're hiding. You're some kind of monster, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, I got one more thing, and then
All
I
right.
feel like I'll have exhausted all of these questions that are plaguing
And we can
me.
finally go to sleep.
And this is one that like I've had nightmares about
Okay.
quite often.
So this is a serious one then.
Yeah,
Somewhat.
it's very serious.
Okay.
So growing up, there was all these mascots for various food brands, and like slowly but surely, like they kept dwindling.
Yeah.
It's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch had 3 bakers.
Yep.
And
now
then
there's only
all of a
one,
sudden it was
right?
just one, and now they don't even have the one.
Yeah.
Now it's a sentient version of one of their squares that's like got a tongue hanging out and googly
The
eyes.
same thing happened to the Cookie Crisp with the
Cookie Crisp had
the
a
Cookie Cop
rich narrative.
and the Cookie Crook, and then
A
they introduced the
tapestry.
dog,
Yeah.
and then like they got rid of the law and order element of it, like getting rid of the Cookie Cop. They
It was just
got rid of like the
Right.
criminal like element, and they just kept the dog, and then they made the dog like hip for a while, and I don't even know where they're at now.
No, so they got rid of the cop.
Yeah.
The police clearly embarrassed. Clearly,
Cookie Crisp is all like fuck the police.
yeah, Cookie Crisp has always been "fuck the police." That was actually the original tagline for the cereal brand, and I just think so embarrassed by that entire police department, Cookie PD, unable to. All they really seem to even care about is keeping cookies out of the hands of crooks.
Yeah.
They had like one job. Like they didn't have to deal with any of those other nuance that regular police have to deal with. Still could not keep like this not even like in shape guy
Yeah.
and his like bastard dog from like getting pretty much as much cookies as they wanted.
Yeah.
And then eating them for breakfast, which was like insult to injury. And it's like, not only did I steal these cookies, but I'm not waiting until dessert. I'm eating this shit for breakfast, maybe right in front of you. It was like serial cuckolding. This is the cookies you're made to protect.
I'm eating your cookies and you can't do anything
I'm
about
eating
it.
them right in front of you for breakfast, and then the cop just breaks down in tears. So the cop left the beat.
Yeah.
All police seem to have. They
Yeah.
didn't replace him with a different cop. Maybe they decided that cookie crimes weren't as important as they originally thought. Or they were like, look, public, look what happens when the cops leave the cookie crimes, unregulated.
Yeah.
So then it's just like, no conflict suddenly.
Yeah.
Just like a crook and his dog and
Free access to all the cookies.
and
that
free
they
access to all the
want.
cookies. Just they'll steal cookies left and right. They weren't giving to the poor. They're just like throw them in a fucking bowl
It
and throw
just
milk on them.
steals for a thrill.
Because I can't be bothered to dunk them. I need milk thrown on top of my cookies. And then the crook disappeared.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was like heart attack or diabetes because of eating cookies every morning for breakfast or what it was. But then it's just the dog, which is weird.
Yeah.
And then the dog is like, I guess still technically doing the crimes. I don't know, but like mostly talking up how great
Cookies are.
Yeah. Maybe got bought by Big Cookie to just promote cookies. I don't know. But I think there was some amount of guilt
Yeah.
that was like eating away at the dog because all of a sudden, kind of like, like you've seen those like before and after, like this was like this guy before he got into heroin and this is after. The dog changed species, got all lanky,
Yeah.
changed fur coat colors. Like I like to think that like all the brown of the fur just like petrified out and
Yeah.
then just like this gray fur everywhere, lanky, like wolf-like.
Yeah.
Dog now is doing Cookie Crisp. No mention of crime.
Nope.
Just like howling, like all that's left in the brain is just to howl Cookie Crisp, for the rest of his days.
Yeah.
And like I wonder, I think that's very clearly the story of Cookie Crisp.
Yeah.
But I wonder what happened to the bakers.
Oh yeah.
Is it like a Soylent Green situation? Like, did I unknowingly as a child eat the other two bakers that weren't Wendell? They were baked into. It's like you can see. It's the taste you can see, but not the crime you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. and I'm trying to think of some. I think like McDonald's is like a whole other thing where it was like there was the whole McDonald's land.
Yeah.
And there was like royalty.
Yep.
There was established like monarchy with like.
They had a mayor.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't a king. That's a different chain.
That was Burger King. Yeah. But...
Yeah. So they had Mayor McCheese.
Yep.
And he was like never voted out of office.
No.
Like he always was in charge.
He was like Mayor Menino in Boston. Like
he got it was kind of like a dictatorship sort of situation.
Oh, was it?
and so Mayor McCheese ran over it. And then there were the Fry Guys.
Yep.
There was Grimace, who must have. There was some sort of accident that caused a grimace.
Yeah.
And like, his name is Grimace, which doesn't sound good.
No, I think he was a villain when he first debuted in the ads. I think that's why.
So he was always upset.
I think he was like trying to make people upset.
So what did Ronald do to permanently affix the smile onto him? And then there was Birdie.
I don't know.
Which is kind of fucked up because Birdie is like hockey. It's like this tradition that's been with a lot of things where it's like, hey, eat my friends.
Yeah, Birdie's promoting cannibalism.
Yeah, Birdie's just like, have some more chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
I mean, Birdie wasn't a chicken.
She's a self-hating chicken.
I don't think she was a chicken.
Well, I don't think chicken nuggets are technically chicken either. At least they weren't back then.
Oh. So that's why there was only the one bird.
Yeah.
And then what else was there? There's got to be some... Oh, they kept him around Hamburglar for a long time.
Yeah, they did.
I wonder if him and like Cookie Crook ever like, talked it out.
Yeah.
Like methodology. Like,
the fast food crime syndicate.
But now it's like, it's just Ronald.
Yeah.
Last man standing. They brought back Hamburger for a minute as sexy Hamburglar.
Yeah, in Japan, right?
No, I think it was.
Was it here
too?
Okay.
But that didn't really take off. I think that it made good fat material, but maybe didn't help the sales.
Yeah.
And so then it's just Ronald. And the weird part about it is if you had to go through the whole cast of McDonald's characters and say which one is the most creepy and problematic, you would think Ronald would have been the first one to go.
Yeah.
Because it's like he reminds you of a serial killer.
Yep.
And Mayor McCheese is just like, I'm a bumbling burger face man.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously Grimace should go.
Yeah.
Birdie, okay, maybe there's some dark thoughts there. But at least Mayor McCheese should have stayed. Fry Guys, like...
Well, I mean, those are the common staples of McDonald's, right? You get a burger and fries.
Right, it should have been Mayor McCheese and the Fry Guys.
Chicken nuggets and fries, so why didn't they stuck around?
Instead, it's like, welcome to the big top of... constantly changing actors without mentioning it.
Yeah.
So this creepy, like, always transmuting, morphing, like, it's like you look back in your family photos and like you see in the background there's always a Ronald. In one of the photos there's always a Ronald somewhere. He's been
McDonald, the dancing clown.
They talk about like the New World Order.
Yeah.
They talk about the secret hand. It's got a yellow glove.
Yeah. The Ronald McDonald
He's
house.
Always
the programming facility.
Yeah. He's always been influencing things.
Oh man.
Well,
that was a lot of things to unpack.
I don't think that's going to help my nightmares.
No, I don't.
I think I might have made them worse.
Yeah, I think sleep is out of the question here right now.
I'm still going to try though.
Yeah.
Well,
It won't
Till-
be as
till-
won't be as bad as the blind guys though.
Thanks for going through those with me, and
Yeah, thanks. I feel
till
better.
next time when some more things keep me up. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for checking out Keeping Me Up. I'd like to thank our guest today, Jacob Paul. If you want to check him out online, he's available at Jacob C. Paul on Instagram. You can buy his shirt designs on jacobcpaul.threadless.com or tpublic.com/jcpdesigns. Want to support the games, video, or audio content I make? You can donate as much or as little as you'd like on patreon.com/GameYayFun. That's GameYayFun. You can check out a new episode broadcast in video form on twitch.tv/GameYayFun. And audio versions of every episode are available at anchor.fm/GameYayFun. Or you can just search Game Yay Fun in your podcast service of choice. Don't have any money, but still want to support the show? If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free Twitch Prime subscription. Use it on Game Yay Fun on Twitch and help give some of Jeff Bezos' money to us at no cost to you. Let me know how you like the show by messaging me on Twitter at Razlo. And I'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode of Keeping Me Up and a new guest. Thanks for your time. I hope I kept you gruntled. And do something kind for yourself and someone else every day. Good night. Special thanks to music-note.jp for providing the theme song to Keeping Me Up with the track name Desire Moon.